Welcome to OddsJam, positive expected value EV bets betting tool. So again, excuse me, I want to go through how to use this platform, how to use the positive EV betting tool. So it's really pretty simple. So I don't know much about basketball, but I bet on basketball a lot, and it's been extremely profitable over time because of this tool. Now, if I didn't have this tool, I would probably be paying for a tout service or some kind of handicapper or talking to friends and going, hey, like, who's good? Like, who do I pick? Right. So I do know there are some teams that are very good against the spread, things like that. But sometimes that goes out the window because of things like this. Like on props, I'm not really a prop guy. Why? I don't know. I just, because I don't, Kevin Durant, I heard the name 100 times. He's a good player. I get it. However, when it comes to value and positive EV betting, we're looking for value. The way you find value in sports wagering or betting is looking at the lines because of this. We can only do this because Vegas offers this to us, right? Meaning that Vegas sets the line for themselves. I'm going to repeat this a billion times because I think for some people, it's not their fault. They've been sucked into the world of gambling. Gambling is Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Like, that's all you hear. It's like, I really don't care. Seem like good dudes, obviously good players, but do you know the Tampa Bay has not covered the spread this year? I don't think at all. But I guarantee the public has smashed their bank accounts because they like the goat of all time. Okay, that's great, but is it winning you money? Are you profitable? How much profit are you making? 1%? 1% of $1 million is good, but 1% of it, like four 5,000, not making any money. So anyway, I'm digressing, but here's my point. When I shop these lines, first thing I do when I get in the morning, I come in, I do my bet tracker, I do all my stuff, I go to my positive EV tool, I hit refresh. Why do I refresh? Because these lines change all the time. So like, look, here's what happened. That pick is gone. Why? Something probably changed in the odds. Something probably moved. If it moved, there's an algorithm built into this that is synced with, the Vegas lines. So when those lines come out and they're live, you have to be on top of things. That's why this is here. And you have to have multiple books. For instance, look at the books I have. I just have these for now. I've got some other ones, but these are only the ones offered in Pennsylvania to me. So I don't have Bovada on here. There's some other ones I think PointsBet will pop up, Unibet, Caesars, but they're not all here right now because this particular bet, it's not offering these odds at these prices. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at this. The over 44 is a minus 107. Now, what I'm looking for is these odds when they change, I have something to compare them to. So my strategy for betting is basically I'm not really a Dolphins fan. I'm not a Bears fan, right? I mean, the Bears I think is cool, but let's face it, they're not the best team out there. Dolphins are pretty good, but I want to bet on things that help me make money. Meaning, if I look at this line and I'm like, all right, well, what am I comparing it to? I'm comparing it to this minus 127. So the books are saying, hey, we're offering these two teams as an asset to you in this market. And here's the bet line we set that Vegas sets for you to choose to bet on. And you choose it because the media says, oh, well, Bears are terrible, over 45. Bears will score some points, and the Dolphins are going to beat them. Okay, fair enough. We saw the Bears last week beat up on the Patriots, right? Enough said. No one expected it, and everyone said pick the under. It went over, and blah, blah, blah. So what we're looking at is the over 44 minus 107 on PointsBet. If you don't have this book, you're forced to pick something else. And here's how it works. I look at Pinnacle. It's a minus 127. Now, this algorithm is built in to say, okay, the best odds available are 127. It's saying it's offered here at that price, right? Now, what am I going to pick? So a minus 130 is kind of, look how this is dark green. This is a light green. These are dark greens, right? That's a light green because it's only 3 cents of market width, meaning that, I'm sorry, it's only 3 cents of the value you're going to get. So that means if you took this bet over, and I'm sorry, these are worse odds. My fault. I apologize. I'm slightly dyslexic. Hold on. Start over. Minus 127. The other books are offering a minus 130, right? Why would you take these when you can get it for this, but you don't have a book that's available to do that? So what do? I pass. That's it. Or if I think I want plus money at a plus 112, I could say, okay, well, let's look at this value. The OddsJam is the pinnacle or penny line. It's a plus 112. All the other books are offering a plus 112. Okay, well, is it better than that? Yeah, it's a penny. Do I want to take that chance? Maybe I do. Why? Just because the plus money is there. In other words, if you flip a quarter 10 times, you're going to get a plus or a minus. Or let's say you bet negative lines all the time, minus 105, but I bet positive 105. Chances are I'm going to win over time, over 100 or 1,000 bets long term, because I'm on the plus side of money. So think about this: positive, plus money, positive EV. Negative and positive don't really coincide in my brain. Now, that doesn't mean you can't take a negative line. What it means is if you take too many negative lines, you're just eating into your profit, right? And I'm going to show you this to be transparent. Here's my bet tracker. Now, this is one I used when I started. I have another one as a different account. So this is the main one. When I first started, I put $100 in my account. I had no idea what I was doing prior to coming to OddsJam. When I started, I think I only had about $500 in this account. So what happened was, they say that ROI for most people, if you're at 3 to 5%, you're doing 3 to 5% is good. Anything above 5 is considered excellent, right? Well, I'm at 15% ROI. Am I bragging? Yeah, maybe a little bit. But the point I'm trying to make is I went from $500 to $11,000 in profit, and I've not bet hardly any bets at all over $30. Fair? Because I'm learning to manage my money. Now, I come from a day trading background to where back testing and data and managing your money is the only thing you can do to be profitable. Because when you start, how many times have you guys done this? I hammered my bet. I hammered it and I lost. Oh, I got to make it up. I've never really hammered a bet. So that doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. What it means is my profit of ROI has gone up 3 times the amount of someone who's considered a good bettor. So I'm a sharp bettor. Why am I a sharp bettor? Does it make me cool? I don't know. I have no idea, right? But what I do know is when I start going to these tools, and these are all positive EVs too. So when I do positive EV bets, man, I'll tell you, it's a different world. So let's say Zach Levine, over 2.5 player-made threes. Let's look at the numbers. Plus 105. I like plus 105, especially if it's a prop. Well, look at that. Now, I'll give you a second to try to look at this. Say, okay, here's the assets, the Bulls in Brooklyn, and here is their company within that asset, right? So he's an asset of the company. Player-made threes, over 2.5 at a plus 105 at Wind Creek or at MGM. So if you look at this, how would you strategize to figure out what to bet on? Let's take a look. I'm going slow on purpose because when I first started this, it was like, wow, what? You think this is difficult sometimes. You got to see day trading. Looking at candles on a chart, it's a whole different world. However, they correlate to each other. So look at this. Minus 126 is the pinnacle line, which is considered the sharpest line in the world. The sharp bettors are on these lines because they want the fairest true odds without paying a lot of VIG, right? So if I take Fox bet at minus 138, I'm paying a lot of VIG. That's 12 cents per dollar, right? So for every $100 bet, I'm taking what, $12 of profit, giving it back to Vegas. Let's do $12 times 1,000 bets in a year. You're going to give back $12,000 to Vegas. If you want to do that, by all means, go right ahead. You want to pay more in taxes? Do it. I don't. Why? Because the data dictates I don't have to if I have the proper data. So minus 126. Now, let's say I don't have MGM. I'm forced to pick one of these books that I have. Now, does that mean not take the bet? No, but I definitely wouldn't take a minus 138. I might take it if I only had, bet par X and it was a minus 115. Okay, I guess I'll take that then. That's fine. But because this is a minus and that's a plus, look how much more money you're getting if you win that bet. Now, you may not win the bet. You're not going to win every bet. You're not going to have a 50, 60, 70 win rate on all this stuff. My win rate's overall like 49.5% over what? Over a year, I think, just over a year. You might say, oh, that's horrible. Okay, it's horrible, but the best bettors in the world, if their only ROI is only 5% and minus 15, then what does that suggest? That means I'm doing something different, and I'm doing something to give myself more profit, less money to pay back to the books, and that's okay. So, if I don't have MGM, what do? If I have FanDuel and Caesars, I could take one of these, but I would take this one over that one. Why? It's still 5 cents less to pay juice to the books, right? Now, this one, it's a minus 104, and I can go under with a plus 100. So on this one, we're looking at potential R because it's plus 100 and a plus 105. He can go over or under, right? But essentially, I want to take this one. I want to do the over, say $50. We're bumping up that $30 now. Hit save. I'm not going to hit save on this one because I already have it in my tracker. But that's how that works. It's pretty simple and easy. Let's look at one more. Patrick Bergeron under, right? Let's look at the numbers. A plus 100. Now, the interesting thing about this program, it's pre-done for you. So whether you want to go research how many shots he's had on goal, past 5 games, 10 games, 20 games, pull up an app, do your research, go on websites, research all you want, right? At the end of the day, the data is available to you, right? You have to rely on the data. The data is everything. Positive EV bets are basically data-driven bets. It doesn't matter who the team is. Let's say this team is, I don't know, Team A and Team B. I don't care. I love the Penguins, but, I don't always bet on the Penguins because they're not the best team to bet on. Why? Right? So I'll tell you this: when the Penguins are at home, bet the Penguins. Bet the Penguins on the money line if you can get a good bet, a good line. So if this shows a minus 122 and there's a plus 100, I like that bet. If it's a minus 108 and it's showing a plus 100, I like that bet too. So now we have 100 and 100, which is a potential arb. There's really no profit. So on these ones, you kind of have to pick and choose what you think is going to be the better bet from there. Personally, I probably wouldn't take it because even though it's even money on both sides, under or over, I don't know what's going to happen, and you surely don't know what's going to happen. Doesn't matter if you're a Boston fan and you love Boston, you hate Pittsburgh. Bet against them all you want, but you're going to run into some trouble later on. Let's go Carl Anthony. One more and we're done. Try to keep these short. Carl Anthony, under 7.5 with a plus 112. The VIG is a plus 106, and there is no pinnacle on here. So these discrepancies in the market, it's basically what it did was this thing searched the database of Vegas of all the odds of what's going on at that time per second per minute and said this is a discrepancy in these books. They all compete against one another. They want to give out different odds. Look at the difference. A minus 138 over and a plus 112. Or let's go 138, 143, 143, right? So if these are all 143s and I'm getting a 118, that's not bad. However, I like plus money. So for me personally, these are all plus 112s. I'm probably going to go with a 112 because that's a minus 118, right? And I'm getting a lot better odds for myself. So that's a quick rundown of the positive EV bets. I want to show you, like I said, my bet tracker so you see some transparency. Now, if you have a small bankroll, like I said, excuse me, you can incrementally grow your bankroll over time. It sounds silly, but I only did $1 or $2 a day for the first like couple months, and I started growing from $100 to say 120 over a couple days, 130, 50, back down to 92, whatever, back up to 115, up to 130, back. It's an up and down game you play, but at the end of the day, you need something to track this information. You have to remember this too. Back in the day, betting was pretty simple, right? Compared to what it is now. With the algorithms and with Vegas, the way they run things, this is a mathematical ecosystem that is a financially backed institution that never, ever, ever loses, never did, never will. But you will. So if you want a small piece of the pie, this is your best bet. And positive EV bets are the best bets you can take. Signing off. Enjoy your bets.